Okay, hi guys. How's everyone? Okay. Good man. Yeah, so it's got a little over a minute before we kick off, and then I'll walk you through the workout. And in terms of our discussion topic this evening, we're going to be talking about recovery in its various different forms. Okay, here we go then. So this session we will be turning erg mode off. Don't worry if you're new, I'll explain how to do that. But we are going to be doing some max level sprints. Well, not quite sprints. Long anaerobic efforts basically. But let's get ready to go. Just under 30 seconds. Just bear with me 1 second, just realised I left the space heater on. Would actually quite like to survive the session rather than have that blasting on me the whole time. The dog was enjoying it though. He's in a very comfortable position on a bed and blanket. Okay, here we go then guys. So erg mode on to start. And I'll walk you through the session. Let's get the session up. Probably something I should have done before I came on. But for those guys that are with us on Discord, please do feel free to ask questions at any point. These sessions are a lot more enjoyable for everyone involved. When you ask questions, just bear with me 1 second. My training peaks is taking a while to load up. So we've got quite a long warm up. You can see that we're building up in 3 minute increments every sort of 3 minutes, increasing the power by about 6%, about 6 to 10 watts, something like that. Okay, so quite a long warm up because once we get into it, it's going to be tough. We've got 3 fast pedaling efforts, about 30 seconds each. Focus there, as the phrase suggests, is just really spinning up quickly, lifting your default cadence, switching those fast twitch muscle fibers on, getting ready for our 1 minute anaerobic repeatability reps. And as that suggests, tonight's session is all about how many quality 1 minute reps can you do. Okay? Before we get to those, we'll be turning erg mode off. Because we don't want erg mode to limit you, as I explained on previous sessions, erg mode is a great tool, but when it comes to anaerobic stuff, you don't want it limiting you because everyone's power profile is different. Once you get beyond threshold, how they produce energy, what anaerobic systems are, how developed they are, it's different for all of us in terms of our physiology, etc. So when it comes to setting a workout, the targets when you get to anaerobic stuff, they're largely arbitrary. We do our best, and we probably get in roughly the right area. But yeah, there is an element of guesswork when it comes to setting workouts like this. I'm just gonna get my cadence sensor. It seems to be working this evening. Go for it quickly. This looks like I'm on an e-bike or a motorbike, more accurately. So here we go to the second step, just increasing by a few watts. Cadence, if you've got it, you want to be upwards of 80 RPM, really spinning out. Okay, nice and easy. Should feel like a 3 out of 10 effort. So as I was saying, we don't want to limit your power. The first rep in particular, we want to be really kind of pushing it, and ideally for our squad athletes, to talk about this a lot, setting a new peak power. So hopefully before the session, you check Pillar or Training Peaks or one of the other dashboards that we have you guys use. Have you checked what your personal best is? Personal best power is over a minute. And if you don't think you're going to get an all-time score tonight, hopefully you've looked at what you've done in the last year or even the last 30 days. So you've got yourself a little target to attack. Now, if you haven't done that, don't worry. You can, if you've got your phone handy, have a quick look on Training Peaks. I think it's the Analytics tab. Or you can even do it in Indie Velo. But this is based on the assumption that you've got a fair whack of data in Indie Velo. Oh, Training Peaks Virtual now, sorry. But yeah, if you go to the CP curve, you can see what your best 1 minute power is on Training Peaks Valley. I'm not a fan of the name. I feel like they could have been a bit more imaginative. It's not very hard to say numerous times as well. So let's call it TPV, which again I don't like because it sounds like a disease. But there you go. Anyway, so tonight's topic, we're going to be discussing recovery in all its forms. And recovery really is a very loose term because it can mean different things in different contexts. It can mean muscular recovery, literally repairing the muscle. It can mean recovery between intervals, just get your breath back. It can mean post-session recovery, getting the protein shake on, all that sort of stuff. It could mean recovery from illness or injury, or it could mean more long-term recovery from, like a season of racing, for instance. Let's turn my fan on. The heater's gone off. Now the fan is on. So I think really what we're talking about is, when it comes to recovery, is kind of recovery over different time frames. You've got the in-session, post-session, and then sort of managing load on the macro level over the whole season. Really, regardless of the time frame though, recovery is important, and that's really the sort of fundamental point about tonight. Recovery is important because what we're talking about really is subjecting your body to a frequent stimulus, hopefully one that encourages it to repair itself and then make adaptations as it does so. That's what we're really looking for, that super compensation, that evolution of your body. Now, that could be cardiovascular adaptations. It could be increased capillarization, for example. It could be an increase in muscle mass. It could be improved neuromuscular efficiency, i.e. kind of muscle memory. Those are the sort of adaptations that we're looking for. For your body to respond to a stimulus and maximize those adaptations, so you need rest. You need capacity for your body to do its work behind the scenes. And I think that's the main takeaway from tonight. Okay, your body cannot adapt, improve, it cannot recover and sort of evolve from the stimulus you subject it to if it doesn't get rest, if you don't allow it capacity. Okay? And so I just really encourage you guys to see your training in this sort of objective way, in like a cause and effect sort of way, and just remove the ego a little bit. It can just help you to make some smarter training decisions, particularly when you're not feeling great. Okay, and just start to see things on a higher level. Okay, not just day to day. See if you're not feeling great, seeing what's led up to that point. Has there been enough recovery? If not, it's not a bad thing to introduce some extra recovery. What it means is you've had too much stimulus and not enough rest. And it's training, and training consistently can be boiled down to be that simple. And I think that's why you see some athletes improve at a faster rate than others, because they're just a little bit better at making those judgments, making those more sensible training decisions. Or if you put it another way, those that progress at a lower rate, slower rate, tend to be those who can't kind of get out of their own head and see the wood for the trees. Anyway, just going back to the workout, we're now on the penultimate step. So we're up to around, what now? About 68% of FTP. Should feel like a 4 out of 10 still. Cadence wise, it's well over 80 RPM now. Over 85, probably closer to 90 if you can. Just gonna try and compare to at least my avatar is turning its legs. Sorry, little things like that really bother me. It's find it super distracting. But is everyone okay with that so far? In terms of kind of what recovery is and why it's important? Anyone got any questions? Yeah, no, there's no dumb questions, mate. Go for it. Ah, yeah, of course. Yeah, no worries. Just jump the gun a little bit. So it's a good question though. So erg mode with TPV, there's a few different options. When you got the E, that means erg mode's on. Terrain means your trainer, if you've got a smart trainer, will adapt to the terrain and simulate the gradients. External means it will switch from your trainer to a crank meter or a pedal power meter. I don't know why you would use that. Fixed is what we're going to be working with when we turn erg mode off. You don't need it off right now, I will remind you. But what that does is it simulates a perfectly flat gradient, and so it just kind of gives you a consistency of resistance so that you can change your gearing to provide the level of resistance, if that makes sense. Just think of it as simulating a perfectly flat road. It just means that when it comes to the 1 minute intervals, it's just down to you. There's no kind of interruptions, there's no little descents, so you can just focus on producing power. For now though, you just want erg mode on. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask any of those questions, guys. So we're now into the final step of the warm-up. We talked about the different time frames, but if we go a little bit deeper, and that's what we'll do over the course of the session now, just talking in a little bit more depth. So in this last couple of minutes, before we hit the fast spelling efforts, and we'll take a reprieve from the chat. Basically, when it comes to post-session recovery, so that's the immediate time frame after a session, that time frame is all about repairing the body and giving it the tools to repair itself as efficiently as possible. Then it can focus on sort of developing after that initial kind of phase. So this means the high protein meals to repair the muscles whilst your body has an elevated rate of muscle protein synthesis. So you really want to get that protein in quickly to make the most of that kind of elevated metabolic rate. Post-session recovery also includes restocking glycogen supplies, so getting the carbs in, particularly if you're training again that day or doing an evening session like now. If you're training first thing in the morning, you need something to burn. And then finally, of course, rehydration. So much of what your body wants to do during its kind of repairing phase can be frustrated if you're dehydrated. Okay, so that initial recovery phase after a session is mega. Okay. Right. Just realised that I've gone through my notes slightly out of order. So I was meant to talk about in-session recovery first, but I'll talk about that next. Don't worry, I'll bring it all together at the end. But for now though, let's just focus for about 40 odd seconds until we kind of get into it with the fast pedaling efforts. So just going to let you concentrate on the workout. Still in erg mode. Spinning up, cadence above 85 RPM if you can. Trying to stay relaxed. So you'll hear me give that cue. A lot of what that means is just drawing the shoulders away from the ears, soften the elbows, and then just try and keep your chin up. Okay, here we go for the first fast pedaling effort. Okay. So really spinning up. Think power's gonna increase a little bit, but your main aim is to really spin up. Want to be upwards of 100 RPM if you can. Last 15. Last couple of seconds. And relax. Good job, guys. DJ play my songs, make me party all night long. Just a little minute in between. In terms of power on those intervals, going up to about 115% of FTP, okay? So it should feel like a hard effort. Sort of like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. But the focus really isn't on the power so much, on getting those legs turning over. As I said right at the beginning, lift your default cadence and switch on your fast twitch muscle fibers. That we'll be using a lot in tonight's workout. Okay, a few seconds, then we're going for round 2. Ready? Here we go. Okay, power's coming on. Up to around 115% of FTP. Legs be really nice and high. Try and relax as you do it though, so that your bum doesn't bounce around on the saddle. Last 10 or so. Five, all the way to the end. 2, 1, and relax. Good stuff, guys. Keep sipping on the fluids if you can. So once you're done the fast pedaling efforts, don't worry if your cadence then drops. Here's a hard effort. And that's 20. Then going to the final effort. Okay, round 3, here we go. Rev up the power, rev up the legs. Upwards of 100 RPM. Halfway. Five. There you go, so So we've got about 5 minutes now until we get into the 1 minute effort. We've got 8 of them. Don't worry if you can't do all 8. Okay, this is our first stab at a session like this. What we're going to do now though is we're going to turn erg mode off. We're going to get it off now so that we can give ourselves time to adapt to the different changes in resistance, get the right gear. So you want to change it to fixed, and then just take a few moments to try and get your gearing right. Don't worry if it changes a little bit. It's impossible to hit a perfectly even power without erg mode on. One of the reasons it's good, but it can also be one of the reasons it's unhelpful. In this instance, when it comes to anaerobic stuff. So I talked about post-session recovery. I kind of got ahead of myself there. In-session recovery, which is important for sort of 3 minutes time. Essentially, in-session recovery, we're talking about fitness. You know, fitness is basically defined as your ability to recover quickly. The ability to either recover from an effort to repeat that same effort, or the ability to return back to a rested state, i.e. bring your heart rate down. This is something we will become more obsessed with sort of February, March time as we start to approach the racing season. And we're doing a bit of repeatability work tonight. But the difference is you've got a fair bit of recovery, got 3 minutes between intervals. You've kind of got 2 ways of manipulating the recovery interval to nuance the stimulus. So working on top end power like tonight, you've got quite a bit of recovery, and it's all about putting out bigger numbers, a lot of power. A bit like a power lifter in the Olympics. You know, small number of reps, but big expectations. And then another way you can manipulate the recovery is to shorten it, increase the number of reps, so you're working on stamina. So there's a bit of an app of that tonight, but I think if we were working on that, I would probably shorten the recovery interval. You'd obviously see a big drop off in your power over the intervals, but it's really encouraging your body to develop that kind of race type fitness where you go, recover quickly and go again. Tonight we're a bit more interested in the top end numbers. Okay, so just go hard on each one. We do want them to be high quality though, so a bit of mental arithmetic for you. And if you've got your phone ready, you can kind of use a calculator, or just don't worry about it too much, particularly if you're new to these sessions, guys. But as a general kind of recovery protocol, if your power numbers after the first interval and you got your average power for that interval, if you don't then stay above about 130% of FTP for subsequent intervals, call it a day, because it just means that you won't be working the right energy system if you're dropping below about 130% of FTP. That's a really kind of fast and loose exhaustion protocol, but hopefully that makes sense. If not, just don't worry about it. Just go hard every interval. You can't go too far wrong. You still have a really good session, but yeah, if your power starts to drop below 130% of FTP, it's probably timed just to relax and have no qualms with you just sort of sitting at zone 2 for the rest of the session. But I would like you to probably get to at least 5 intervals. Okay, so let's start pedaling up now. We're about to get ready to go. Don't worry too much about the power target, just get ready to go. 2, 1, here we go. 45. Your average power, if you need it, is the middle number at the bottom of the top, or the top little table. Okay, get ready to kick. 20 seconds, come on, let's go again. Last 10. Come on, squeeze out a few more watts. 3, 2, and 1. And recover. Last one down. Whew. Okay, so that's one rep down, guys. Power wise in the recovery interval, looking for about, I think set about 40% of FTP. So don't worry too much. Just get your breath back. Start to spin your legs up again. Get it back above 80 RPM. And then you can start to kind of bring the power back in line with the target in front of you. It's quite an aggressive, even though you've had quite a long warm up, I always find that first rep just incredibly aggressive. Hopefully you guys found it a little bit more, well, you're more ready for it. It's so hard to talk for sort of 20 odd minutes and then do a smash out 1 minute interval. Yeah, I'm not expecting too much in the way of questions right now. Maybe towards the end. To be honest, I've got stuff to talk about. I can't. I'm going to give it a couple more intervals. And then what I tend to find is you sort of settle into it a little bit. Whereas the first one, you just sort of eyeballs out. I actually quite enjoy doing this stuff. When I'm on my own at least, or at least not talking. I quite enjoy this stuff, but it does always take a couple of reps before you start to think, oh, okay, I'm into this now. Ideally, we would do an even longer warm-up. I'd love to do sort of like a good half an hour warm-up, but I mean, nobody would come to the session with the first 30 minutes, and the session itself would probably be over an hour and a half, so we have to be realistic over what people are willing to do. Anyway, right, so that's round one. You've had your first introduction. Round two coming up in about 20 seconds. So make sure your power is roughly that target, but make sure more importantly, your cadence is back up above 80 RPM. And just steadily over the next 10 seconds, build the effort a little bit and get ready to drop that gear and drop the hammer in 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. That's 5. $30. Okay, last 15, get ready to kick. Go on then, let's go. One last push. 10. 5. 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Okay. Oh man. Well done, guys. That's 2 down. Rep back, and then say bring your legs back online. So the final form of recovery I want to talk about tonight is longer term recovery. And it's just as important as all the others, but it's probably the area where I find particularly non-coached athletes or inexperienced athletes find it the hardest to kind of comprehend, because they're used to training being a lifestyle thing rather than seeing it kind of season to season. So it's totally legit, but it is quite a big adjustment for some. But long-term recovery, okay, I sort of seeing it as 2 things. Firstly, recovering from illness or injury. That's just a quick one because this is a subject in itself. But again, you've got to think of it in terms of cause and effect. In this sense though, the stimulus is much more measured. The stimulus is about it's not about stimulating progression. It's just intended to be enough to encourage your body to kind of get back to where it was. So you're not looking to improve when you're trying to recover from injury or illness. It's about just coaxing it back to life, coaxing that repair. And in this period, nothing's gained from going hard because your body just won't have the capacity. You remember right at the start I was talking about recovery being about rest, so your body has the sort of breathing space to absorb and respond. You know, your body, while you're ill or injured or coming back from it, is still primarily going to be focused on repairing itself. So smashing yourself to pieces whilst you're still carrying a bug, or you're still coming back from an injury, there's no benefit, and it's really hard. As I say, particularly for those for whom training is a lifestyle thing rather than completely performance focused, it can be really hard to hold back and just jumping straight into your normal way of doing things. But again, think of it as cause and effect, okay? Too much cause, negative effect in this instance, okay? Anyway, coming back to the workout, 10 seconds until we go again for round 3. So start to build up the effort. Get ready to drop the gear in 2, 1, here we go. Forty-five. Try and hold a really nice high cadence. 100 RPM plus, if you can. Halfway. 20. Get ready to kick. Ready? 2, 1. Okay, let's kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, man. Alright, so long-term recovery. Talked about injury and illness, which we will talk about again in more depth. But the second kind of facet of long-term recovery, in my mind, is end of season recovery. And it's so often ignored or misunderstood. First thing to say is you've got to delineate season from season, otherwise it's just a really good way of burning out, physically as well as, probably most importantly, mentally. You burn out. If you don't have a break from the constant churn and burn, yeah, it's just gonna blow up. And over the course of the season, you bank fatigue and deep-seated damage like micro tears, soft tissue. You start to pick up little sprains and niggles. You get hormonal interruptions as well, particularly if it's coupled with poor sleep quality. And so it's absolutely essential that at the end of a season, whenever that is for you, or maybe even part way through the season if you've got a really extended season. So for instance, Anna has got Ironman 70.3 world champs in a couple of weeks. Her season has been endless, so we've had to break it up. It's absolutely essential that you give your body like a good clean period in which it can repair like the foundations, so to speak, okay? You cannot just progress exponentially. It's not linear. It's more of a, I can't remember what you call the curve, but yeah, you have lots of peaks and troughs, okay? You can't fight that. That's just life, okay? Pros like that, they may not talk about it. It may not be in their social media profile, the fact that they take a nice long break at the end of the season, but it's there. Because a big part of it is the mental break, as I've already mentioned, and we don't talk about that enough really. Just a break from squeezing into lycra or peeling yourself out of bed. That mental side of training is enormous, and you must treat your mind like a muscle in that respect. Okay, 5 seconds, then we go. Ready? Put it up. Drop the hammer, come on. Good, guys. $45. Okay, halfway. Last 20, keep pushing. Ready to kick. 3, 2, 1, last kick. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Oh. Halfway. Just relax. Keep the fluids coming on. Well done, guys. So get your breath back. Start spinning up the legs. So, pretty much done my chat on recovery. I'll do a roundup at the end. But the reason I want to get it done early in the session was my assumption was no one's gonna take in any information now. You've probably stopped already. But just remember, you can go back and watch this from the members area, or it'll be up on YouTube if you kind of missed anything, or just message me. Well done, guys. It's now really kind of digging in time. Don't worry if you find that really hard. You might just find in the second 4 reps you kind of find a nice rhythm, okay? But just make sure in the second half of the interval you're kicking, okay? And you're really kind of going for it. For now, I just spin up little sips of fluid. Try not to drink too much because it doesn't really have time to be taken on. It will just sit in your stomach. So just little sips, just to sort of satiate the impulse, and then obviously after the session you have plenty of time to rehydrate. Hopefully you come to the session well hydrated in the first place. If not, then something to really kind of think about. And I really recommend having an electrolyte drink available during these sessions. Indoor training, it's hot, humid work. You know, it's equivalent of sort of working in much nicer climates. So you've got to respect that and really take the hydration seriously. I can say that with some very shameful experience of fainting and etc. because I've not been hydrated or had the room ventilated properly. Don't go there, it's not worth it, it's not fun. Right, so 15 seconds till we go again. Start to build up the power, build up the leg speed, start to think about dropping the gear. Okay, 5, 2, 1, here we go. Round 5. Point 5. Okay, last 30. Really pick up now. Let's get ready for a finishing kick.
Down, up, down, up and down, elevator up, down, up, down, yeah.
Ready?
Down, up and down, elevator up.
Okay, last kick, guys.
And down, up and down, up and down, up and elevator.
This shit high.
And down,
3, 2, and 1.
Take it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Don't need to fake it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Own it. Bring me back, bring me back.
Well done, guys. We've broken the back of the session now. 3 more to go. So really stay on it, guys. We're going to do plenty of this work over the winter. So don't worry if you find this really hard. It's the first step to a more well-developed anaerobic system. And these sessions will take on a new life. You know, they'll shift from being like
This shit high.
an absolutely unbearable pain to becoming more of a sadistic, almost enjoyable pain without betraying myself too much. Okay, so kind of lean into it if you can, guys. Don't worry if you're finding it tough. It will get easier over time. Well, not easier. Your perception of it will change over time, okay? You see me, I'm always fiddling with my shoes. It's a really annoying habit I have. Kick on a turbo trainer. I find that I get quite numb feet quite easily, and it's because I always do my shoes up really tight for these types of intervals. Okay, good stuff, guys. Hopefully back on top of the gear. You have to shift the song on. I have a pretty rubbish run of songs, see. For those on Discord, if you've not got music, what you need to do is you need to go to the live stream, which I think is been paused for some reason. Oh, I know why. There we go. Go to the live stream and then you just bring my screen back up once you've started following the live stream in Discord. But we were doing it this way because quite a lot of people like to listen to their own music. You've got the option of whatever playlist I've chosen. As we go into the sick interval, sorry. So let's go for it, guys. Just 2 more after this. So stay focused, Stay strong. 45 to go.
You don't know how this feels. And I just lose control, when I'm in the zone,
30. Last 20 coming up. Ready to go. Come on in, guys. Big last kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, guys. Well done, guys. So, sorry, mate. I always forget. About the music. I'm so used to doing it a different way that I forget you guys can't just hear it straight off. Yeah, it does take a while to get into the habit of doing these sessions again. We'll get there though. I think if you saw how many screens and how many tabs and how many pieces of software I've got open up right now, because we're live streaming this session as well, I think you'd have some more sympathy. Honestly, I don't know which screen to look at right now. All for the gram. So I hope you can appreciate that these are actually quite long recovery intervals. It may not feel it, and you might be sort of, you know, doing the old Ali G concealed middle finger, or just giving me the middle finger maybe. But yeah, so this is, yeah, it's 3 times the work interval, which is quite a decent recovery set. Where we're working on more stamina, what we do is probably almost half it really. Do maybe like 90 seconds, up to maybe 2 minutes, depending on how. No, probably more 90 seconds to a minute actually. I'm not too worried about the power numbers being super impressive. We're just seeing how consistent they become and how quickly you can recover to then continue producing a decent level. Maybe not your best work, but decent level. Because that then gives us an idea of actually realistically what you might be able to put out in a race. Anyway, more of that's come. Let's get ready, build up the effort, get ready to drop. Here we go. Okay, 40 seconds. Penultimate effort, guys. Stay strong. Halfway. $20. Ready to kick in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good efforts. Oh man. Oh, just one more to go, guys. Oh man. Okay, last swig of fluids. Try and bring your legs back online. We're nearly there, guys. Just one last effort. Let's see if we can try and up the numbers this time, okay? Try and make sure you've got a really high cadence as you go through these intervals, guys. It's very tempting to sit in a really big heavy gear and churn it out. I don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for that, but when we're looking for kind of good habits and high quality work, try and keep that cadence nice and high. Drop into a slightly easier gear if you need to. You'll just be able to sustain it for longer. Because that big heavy gear stuff, that really leans on your phosphocreatine system for each pedal stroke. Just means you just get fatigue a bit quicker. And don't get me wrong, at the end of a race, sometimes that is all you've got. Is that slow kind of like tidal wave type power as you try and get on top of the gear. But with sessions like this, you know, it means a couple of extra watts, a few less watts. It's not a big deal. We want to try and encourage good habits. So I would say at least above 90 RPM, taking into account we're at the end of the session and the legs weren't what they once were. Okay, so 15 seconds. Let's really get ready to go for this final one. Okay, bring the legs back online. Get the cadence up above 80 RPM. Get ready, guys. Come on, let's go big. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, 45, guys. You're near there. $30. Come on, keep pushing. Last 20. Come on, empty your tank now. Get ready to kick. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. And relax, guys. Loosen off the shoes a little bit. Anyway, just relax, guys. Work is done. Just let you get your breath back a little bit. We'll do a quick recap. But in a nutshell, guys, I really just want to emphasize this concept of cause and effect and just thinking about how you approach your training in quite an objective manner. You've got the stimulus, You've then got the recovery, where you rebuild and adapt. But your body can only do that if you've got enough capacity. And that means plenty of recovery and regular recovery and staying on top of your fatigue. You know, we talked about in-session recovery and the concept of how you can use it to manipulate that stimulus. Okay, we've talked about post-session recovery, which is all about repair, getting that protein on, getting the carbs on, getting the fluids on, repairing and taking advantage of that small window where your body is just desperate for all the ingredients to rebuild itself before it can then start to evolve and develop. Okay, but you've got to have that recovery, that post-session recovery in. And then longer term recovery, you've got your recovery from illness or injury. And thinking again in terms of cause and effect. And in this period, nothing is gained from too much stimulus. It's all about just coaxing your body back to life. Okay. And then finally, end of season recovery, or kind of mid-season recovery, whatever the context. We're taking a big old break to delineate between seasons, allowing your body to kind of repair the foundations. Okay. There's many forms of recovery, and it's important to take them all seriously. And that is about becoming a smarter, more emotionally intelligent athlete. Is being able to kind of, you know, analyze the cause and effect, analyze the stimulus and recovery, and how well balanced you got them. Oh. Right then, guys. You've probably heard enough of me yabbering on, but thanks a lot for your company. Really appreciate you joining. We're back same time next week. Okay. And if anyone's got any questions, I'll stick around. Otherwise, guys, get your protein on, get your fluids on. Nice one, Mikey. If anyone has got any questions, fire away. Otherwise, I'll just slowly die. No worries, man. Cheers for coming. Well done, guys. Have a lovely evening, everyone.